Hello, everybody. Corny Chicken Soup here, and welcome to a very short, detailed video, I must say. Um, this is going to be a short summary about my org season, my first season of my org, Cornyvivor, that's on Discord, um, Cornyvivor Season 1 Battle for Dream Island. Um, I just wanted to make this video because I haven't uploaded in ages, and I just want y'all to have a short video at least. Um, but yeah, I am hosting an org. Spoiler alert: it's gonna be split up into multiple eras, so you won't see a season 2 video once that comes out because I feel like I just wanted to do this for the first season just because it will make for just a very short video. However, we're gonna do Era One. Season 8 will be All Stars and the final season of Era One of Cornyvivor. And after that, I'm gonna plan on making a whole long video and podcast about Era One with multiple prod members and hopefully some faces that have competed in the org. And you know, I'm hoping it will be a huge journey. But yeah, that's the first thing. So let's get off with season 1, which was Battle for Dream Island. Yeah, that's the team. Okay, so for short, so little side note, I actually hosted a previous org like a few years ago. We also named Cornyvivor, and I had the same team for season 1. It was also Battle for Dream Island BFDI. A long, long story short, that org did not age well, and you know, after 4 seasons, it got removed. But there was another short spin-off of an org. I don't want. I'll discuss that in another video, hopefully. But I decided to make a brand new org, and this is gonna stay permanent, hopefully. Um, yeah, season 1. So we really had 50 applications for over 50 applications for our first season. So that was always going to be a huge plus. I was astounded. I was like, hey, this season might be a banger. We might start off very well as a season. And to give you all my thoughts on season 1, no more, no less. It's kind of mid in my eyes. Not that it's bad. It has some good qualities, but you know, it has a lot of flaws that hold it back to make it a good orc season. Let's start off with the castaways. Uh, we have some iconic, we have some memorable people in here. Obviously, we have people like Redhead, and Anaya, Capybara, Brock, Knight, Enzo for the final half of the season, and obviously Geo. But also, we have some duds, which leads me to my first category, which is the pre-merge. Marooning started off okay, you know, not the absolute greatest thing in the world, but it was fine. We got to learn some people like Brock, who was my number one contender at the very first start of the season, and it was, we split the tribes. We did squat the tribe flag making. It was the squishy cherries versus the squashy grapes, and you know it went better than the previous org because we also had that challenge, and those drawings were up. And you know, by that point, I realized something. Most of the castaways weren't the most active, which is gonna which played a huge detriment to the season. Um, it led us to our very first Cornyvivor boat, Absol. Um, we got Miller, who also got second boat, but for one being inactive, but also just flipping on the majority alliance that they had in the first tribal. Like, what are we on? You know, by this point of the game, I thought Brock. It was gonna be Brock's game. There were some contenders like Kabibara and Anaya and Austin, but yeah, Brock was given the major edit. I felt like he was a winner contender. Bright personality, most active for a long time. Then we have Simple. Then we have the next few boots who are kind of that. We have Simple. Um, Not much that happened there. you know. And then we have Doctor Evil Metal, who might be the biggest disappointment in the season. We casted him solely based on him thinking he was gonna be like an annoying villain, which we hoped at the time. But he at the end of the day he wasn't active enough and kind of was never like the moment he goes to tribal the first time he was done, and that's basically what happened. Um, then we have probably the three. Well, the last three creatures are the most interesting. We have Phoenix, who kind of was a bit chaotic, but not to an extent. That was in the double boot with Sty, who is a controversial figure. If you'll watch the season, and we found out that Sty is a UK far right nationalist, and that's a huge no, obviously. um, yeah, Sty got the boot because he also sucked. And then we have the most interesting person, and that's Will, who was interesting for the first half of the pre-merge, kind of dipped a bit, and then in his final boot episode, in his boot episodes, he kind of went overplayed the fuck. Um, I'm really losing words. This season just isn't the most memorable. Okay, so we get to the merge cast. Merge was a bit, but definitely not the first two episodes. At least those first two merge episodes were boring. We had the Thanos boot, who Thanos, biggest dud. No offense, Thanos, but the first time you were kind of active was you trying to look for the idol, and that will get you so far in orgs. Then, oh yeah, I'll give Thanos this. The Redhead boot, him and Redhead, and in the duels challenge, kind of top notch. Probably the best moment of the season, or at least top three. Like, they just beefed over bat. Okay, so for context, we had the duels challenge where each person goes against another person from the different tribe, and Tenos and Redhead were in the same room, and it all kind of escalated when Redhead asked Thanos if he heard Bad Bunny or whatnot, and Redhead is a huge Bad Bunny fan, and when Thanos he over exaggerated what Thanos actually said. I don't know what really went on, but I feel like I definitely remember Redhead just BSing that whole shit, and it was at the end of the day some good content, and Thanos was also destined to not make it super deep. So yeah, and then we have possibly the worst orc player that I've ever seen make merge. That's Vicky. Not a single ounce of tries in their confessional. Barely does nothing. Two strikes. That's not good. Yeah, Vicky is kind of like the most invisible person of the season. You know. You see, this is like the main problem of the season. I cannot remember it as fondly because it was so dire at that point of the game. I'll say, however, from this point forward, the final line, things started to get interesting in a way. We got some good rivals at least. We start with Slim Boot, who I thought was a pretty normal guy. He wasn't my winner pick, but I definitely wasn't opposed to him winning at the pretty merge. But then the last few rounds weren't it, and then he kinda went all out of the way in his boot episodes, and he planted the most fake AI idol I have ever seen in an org. If y'all want to see that, it's in the Discord server. We have it as a sticker. Side, uh, you cannot plant fake AI idols. That is a no in orgs. That is an absolute no and the most obvious shit ever. Which we got a satisfying boot in Slim at the final nine. Um, so far, my Brock has declined his game a bit, especially in the first parts of the merge. Until and before I must say I really like Capybara. I hope she returns in a future season. Very strong player. Top three of the season for sure. Definitely had a potential winning scenario at the end. But unfortunately, she met her fate at eighth place when Brock idled her out. Um, Fun play, like I said, fun player was one of the winning contenders of the season. Capybara, we love you, and yeah. Then we have the Brock boot, which was also fun because it was a bit of a scramble, and Brock did not play his second idol, which made which gave us an interesting boot, so to say. But Brock is also an icon in himself. We're hoping we can also get him to return. Then we have our final six. We get to the Knight boot. Which is the infamous first ever Cornyvivor rock draw. And an interesting tribal, to say the least. Probably my favorite of the season. Maybe not. That probably goes to Final Four, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, shout out Knight as well. Interesting guy. Known him from a couple of works before. So yeah, shout out Knight. Then we have our top five: Anaya, Austin, Enzo, Gio, and Redhead. And we were thinking about it was kind of obvious that Redhead was like the most obvious win out of all the five if he comped out, which he unfortunately didn't, and it met his fate in at the final five where people folded it up for being a threat. But yeah, and I must shout out these some of these merge players because they are mostly interesting. Redhead, yeah, icon player of the season. Hoping we can get a return from him, of course. Yeah, shout out Bad Bunny. And then we get to the final four. Not the strongest final four, I'd say. One solid contender, maybe another okay one, but not many. Not, I wouldn't say most of them were my idol winner picks. Respectfully, of course. I love these guys. Most of these guys that, and I hope they understand it. Please don't kill me after this video. But yeah, um, Final Four. We get the most famous, probably my favorite tribal councils of season one. Honestly, where Enzo won immunity, and he gave up his immunity to go to agree to go to fire making with Gio, and it was a very close match. But due to Enzo's risky move, that let his fate in the game seal, and he got the final boot, and well, being the final juror and the fallen angel of the season. And I must say, Enzo is a weird player because his pre-merge is very bad, like almost Vicky levels of bad and inactivity. Um, but then once the slim boot happened, he kind of woke up in a way. Well, he also has two strikes, which I forgot to mention that right now, which is why I compared him to Vicky. But yeah, he kind of woke up, chose violence a bit with Slim, and then he kind of got better once the game went, and he probably could have won the game. He could have won the season if he beat Gio in fire making. I don't know how a scenario would go down if both Gio and Enzo were in an FTC together, but I do think Gio might win. Either way. I don't know if you're a season one jury member that is watching this. Please let me know who would you vote in the comments. Acting like a big YouTube channel, man. I don't know. Which leads us to the FTC. We have Gio and Naya and Austin, and most obvious. It was pretty obvious Gio was gonna win, but it was kind of a messy jury. Two 3 people did not vote, or 2 people wasn't. I don't know. Most of the jury members did not vote, which led Gio to win in a unanimous vote. And I don't know if it was a perfect game. It might be a perfect game if I remember. Probably the first perfect game in Cornyvivor history. And while I don't think his win is the best of all time, and probably not won't be, his game his game is still very good, a very strong A or A plus tier winning game in my book, and a deserving winner for that time, which is I'm completely satisfied. Love you, Gio. Again, shout out Austin and Naya. If Slim had voted for someone, Naya would have been second place, and Austin would have been the third no vote finalist. But you see, in conclusion, and I'm gonna bring up this point together. Season one is a mixed bag. Season one of Cornyvivor, BFTI, is a mixed bag. There are some good in it, and some bad. The bad is inactives, people that didn't try hard enough. It was kind of a bit of a slog to get through at times, but also there are some redeeming qualities that don't bump it to a bad season. Like I enjoyed like five to seven of the people in the cast at least. Um, you know, uh, that's all I really have to say. Really, not a huge video. I'm hoping I get this posted soon because the corn chicken soup server YouTube channel is gonna die if I don't post a video soon enough. Last time I uploaded, it's been like months or even a year, I think. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Cornyvivor season one. A mixed bag overall, but I wanted to do this video short and sweet, and to end it off on a high note, I'll give the cast a bit of applause, and Yeah, that's it. If you want to join Cornyvivor or apply to any future seasons, I'm gonna put the Discord link down below. If you like this video, hit that subscribe, like, and subscribe button, and click on the notification bell so we can see more productive and creative videos like this. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. Yeah, join Cornyvivor. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and peace out. Bye bye.